Number seven. I've never seen anything like Dandelion's Odyssey. It is the sort of movie you can appreciate, though, especially when you're roaming around in nature with your mind drifting. You might ask yourself, what if all this nature was more like me? With this movie, we see a group of dandelions avoid the risk of nature together, navigating it towards success or at least to live another day. It is a strange premise for a film, but it's nice to look at, and it does tap into imagination in a novel way that should at least intrigue you as a premise, and is also under 80 minutes, so it really does not overstay its welcome. I felt intrigued but confused. Then I accepted it. Then I really enjoyed it. Then it was all fine when the experience was over. That's basically how the experience washed over me as a viewer. The vibes are nice and gentle, but how long that sort of experience should last is a fair question. There's some danger at times, but these are dandelions on the line, and without flesh on the line, the stakes aren't the same. It is curious that this sort of thing can make it to the Cannes Film Festival, but at the same time, I feel like why the heck not? It is a nice, gentle vibe and an interesting enough of an idea. Number six, I Only Rest in the Storm is quite a challenge. I bet, even for the most seasoned cinephile, it is a 3.5 hour affair that is rewarding, insightful, and direct. It focuses on an essentially well-intentioned Portuguese man working in West Africa, but he isn't fully honest with himself about those intentions, and he is alarmed to learn about his impact on the community. There's a lot of fairness in showing that spiraling, though. This movie is anti colonial, but not hateful of anyone. It simply shows what happens every day, somehow, some way. All of these big ideas need emotional grounding in a movie, though, and we certainly do. There's an interesting romantic dynamic and a steamy, perhaps even bold filmmaking depicts sexuality. Make sure you are ready to embark on this journey. It is long and it is not a spectacle film, at least in a traditional sense. The photography is fantastic, and the inverse ethnography study is captivating filmmaking. Usually, if something is this long, I'm expecting new Hollywood tourism like Apocalypse Now, or that in a contemporary sense, like Killers of the Flower Moon and Peter Jackson's Tolkien movies, to get that scope with the film shot in West Africa, which is a takedown of business as usual, is a gift, and I hope enough people are willing to go on this journey. Number five, Caravan is a raw movie in a realistic sense. The first scene shows an affluent dinner party, and you'd be fair in thinking that this would be a bunch of Northern Italians living a cozy life for the rest of the time. However, one character at the dinner table says she doesn't live a cozy life whatsoever. She lives with another woman and is challenged man in a rural environments, and it's basically this uncomfortable dynamic for the rest of the movie. If you have lived in an uncomfortable fashion with people that are decent, or maybe not exactly decent, but you find a dynamic and you find a way to like each other, then this movie may speak to you. There are a lot of feminine kinds of compromises along the way. The sheer horrors are hidden, but you'll get the idea. And there isn't the type of resolution at the end where everyone gets rich. I felt like it was a realistic grit because it shows gentle suffering. It's not misery porn, and the poor people are not shown as diabolical or twisted, although some are mean. The discomfort was enjoyable in a way. It is a rewarding journey and a realistic tale with good actors and a very nice scenery. And very nice scenery. It's the type of Italian movie which I don't usually watch, but never regretted what it is asked of me to do so. Number four, Love Letters is set in France during 2014 and looks at a female same-sex couple. The same year same-sex marriage was legalized in the country, here in Canada, we actually had legalized in 2005. It looks at the bumps that the first era of couples had to take. Things might be a little bit more normalized, but there's still stigma and stereotypes. Maybe it will never truly go away. It's a neat movie to see, though. I can't relate to the same-sex attraction, but I've done interracial dating and can tell you people say stupid things to you when those moments occurred in this movie. It's done naturally. Naturalism takes more effort, though what seems seamless in the movie is well crafted, nuanced, psychologically profound, and a treat to see. This movie was fun in that sense. It's not really comedic, but it's fun to watch. It's neither catatonically depressing, it simply exists within lightness and reality. It's relatable and normal, but looking at something that was not perceived as such. That might have changed in France and is beyond my knowledge, but in 2005, in Canada, the shift in our understanding of the issue is real. Patience is important, but knowing what's right is more important. Number three, Milantropus is not like Cosmopolis or even Megalopolis, which I haven't seen, but premiered at Cannes last year. It is quite strange, though, in a minimalist sense, though, and not in a jarring way. It is a documentary which shows us various snapshots of war-torn Ukraine. Sometimes we get people talking in an intimate environment, sometimes people talk with each other in public, and sometimes we get somewhat static shots of the extreme environment. By gazing into the circumstances with little moral exposition, we get a sense of life lived and get a sense of empathy for people going through harsh life circumstances. In that sense, it is a bit like the Joaquin Phoenix produced documentary Gunda, where we see farm animals roam around captured with black and white photography. It has minimal aesthetic and virtually no plot, but it is designed for us to empathize with animals and become vegans. Yet I am more concerned with human life, so this one is more up my alley. It might be a complicated situation, but war is war is war. It is not fun, and whatever your critique might be of the whole tale, keep in mind that these people enduring wars are not like pawns. They're human beings. Number two, film's called Meteors. Disenfranchised Males is a genre of cinema in France. Of course, it is much of the talk in the world in general, but the film Holy Cow and Now Meteors looks at it in an unflinching way that's nice to see. It's partially the context of being in France instead of being in North America. These guys spend no time on 4chan. They're just out of the world accepting too much suffering in their daily routine. In Meteors, some late night shenanigans get two young men in a lot of legal trouble, and the film sets up a situation where they may lose everything over the impulsive decision to steal a rich guy's cats. Of the two friends, one is a pothead, and the other one could be successful in the world in another context, but he will likely never leave his town during his life, making him unlikely to go very far. It's construction or fast food work, it seems. While it may be realistic fate for one of the guys, for another, it is an unjust life to live. It is squander potential due to a rapacious system. France is mean, not like in a unique way, but in a typical one, which makes this film neat. Their men suffer like ours. It's interesting yet horrible that we can talk about this, make stories about this, but can't change this. Number one, A Useful Ghost is a Thai comedy that deals with celestial entities. It deals with ghosts, but it's not scary. Whatever physical things we get, it should be filtered through an understanding that this is a comedy. It's not even a horror comedy. It's more an auteur type of cinema, which is working primarily within the comedic style. This hard to peg quality makes it better because of its singularity. To have a dead wife come back to her husband as a vacuum cleaner is amazing. She is the vacuum cleaner, but her husband can also see her essence take over and the physical body returns. First, people around the husband don't like it, but things only get more metaphysical from there. The setup is a lot of fun. That then, when the celestial politics come into play, it gets more interesting and rewarding. The jokes are delivered in a deadpan way that lands. It's not so dry that there's nothing to latch onto. The setup makes the laughs earned and plentiful, and the dialogue and performances are excellent throughout. This is like if Shaun of the Dead was made with no intentions of being a homage to anything, had no external references, it just aimed to be a cool, ideally a singular experience.